Hello, and here we are today with a car wrap design tutorial of a Porsche GT2 or GT3. Today I'll be showing you how to break this up and get ready to design on, and later show you how to template it out and get it ready for print. So right now I have here one layer, and I typically like to call it by the side that it is, and then OG for original. And what I'll first do is I'll take this, bring it down to here, duplicate it, bring another one down to here, duplicate it. I'll name one mask, name the other one multiply. Then I'm going to turn this one off and this one off, just for now. I'm going to come select this mask one, highlight it. This type of templating can also be done for any type of vehicle, really. But we're just going to work on the Porsche today. And I'm going to bring this all the way around. I'm going to stay away from anything that are like vents, just so that we don't really have to deal with it. And what I'm doing here is I'm creating almost like a paint mask to be completely around the entire car. Anything that could be wrapped, I'm about to mask off. And what that allows me to do is create almost like an accordion folder over the top of it, to where I really don't have to be concerned about what's on top. I can lock these layers on top and make sure that my bottom layers are just design. This way later on, if I do decide to print this design, everything's broken down for me, and all I have to do is turn off that top layer. This was taught to me a very long time ago, and I typically use this on a day-to-day basis if I don't already have a template for a car. There are many good templates for vehicles out there. You could use Bad Wrap, you could use Pro Vehicle Outline. There's a whole bunch in the industry. But if you're starting from scratch like we are here, this is typically the way you can go about doing it. Also, I will specify how to get your vehicle up to size. So as you can see here, I outlined pretty much the whole car. And there are some parts of this that you absolutely cannot wrap. So let's just dive into that here. We'd be talking about this section, these lights, part of the wing, but we're going to leave it in for now. The wheels, you could wrap the wheels, but we'll get to that on a different video. These windows you don't want. Part of this we'll get into, and definitely this section in here. We're not going to be able to wrap this. So what I'll do, and I'm using Control and Alt here on Photoshop to maneuver my way around. And these lights as well, we can't really wrap. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to hold Control. Let me let that clear. I'm going to hold Control. Nope. I'm going to hold Alt, not Control. Sorry about that. hold Control, not Control, keep messing that up. Hold Alt and start your first keystroke with the polygon lasso tool. And you're going to be able to subtract out anything you really need to subtract out. So these fins here, I'm going to again hold Alt, click. Now I don't have to hold Alt anymore. And I can just subtract out this, almost like I'm using a cookie cutter to just stamp out this section from my mask. Because although you may think you can wrap into these crevices, you can, it would just be extremely difficult and they're most likely not going to hold up from what I've seen. Being able to get in here and even especially showing the client that, hey, these aren't going to be wrapped. Even with the mirror, you might want to show somebody that it can't be wrapped if that's something that you're not intending to do if this goes to being installed. If you're just doing this to design on the computer, there's a bunch of different ways you can go about that. But on the chance that this is going to go to print, if you are designing for a car wrap, I would assume that it would go to print. I would really make sure that you design for print. It's a lot better to have a design for print than to have to go back and reset your whole file and make sure that certain files are up to resolution. It's much better to start from that beginning process and being able to have a file that's sized correctly at the beginning rather than having to go back at the end. At least that's what I've found. If you're just trying to have a quick mock-up of something digitally so that a client can see it, sure, I guess you could get away with that from time to time. That's done. Now all I have is this. And this one. I'm going to leave this section right here, okay, because that should be able to be wrapped. Come up here. Should be good. Don't tell me I just lost that. Oh. Don't know what just happened there. Okay. Gonna subtract this out. Should be our last piece. I'm gonna double check myself. I believe that's right. We're gonna leave this out just for difficulty's sake of realizing on how to wrap that. It gets a little complicated for designing for it, the splitter here. But for right now, we're gonna leave that like that. And now that I have that masked, oh, I forgot about these. So because this whole thing is around my mask, I still want to subtract out these. I think I could use this. I can. Fantastic. That's good. And then we'll edit this here. We'll actually have to add here because that in the background is still part of this wing. And I forgot this little one right here. Subtract it out. You can even subtract these guys out because we want them to stay. We don't want them to be in the multiply layer. And I believe with that, we should be good. So I'm going to come up to here. I'm going to hold and stay on my mask layer. I'm going to click delete. And if you see, we now have a transparent background. At this point, I can add back in my multiply layer. The reason why it's called multiply layer is I can come up here and I can just click multiply. And what's great about that is now I can click these, hold shift, click it, right click, merge. Nope, sorry, don't merge. Group, control G, group. I'm gonna label this template. Sometimes I even like to come down here and make it red. And now, just to start any type of design, I'm going to take the rectangle tool over here, make it as big as my canvas. Let's just make it green for right now. And bam, just like that. So for this design's sake, I always think it's funny to have a 711 911 Porsche. I'm going to take this guy, make sure that it's underneath my template layer, hold shift, get that down. And just because, oh, we also want to lock this template layer. That helps a lot. Definitely lock it. This way, if you don't lock it, what ends up happening is all this can get dragged around. Lock your template layer. This, we can label this 711 logo. That'll be important for the next video. For this is also important. If I want to make this green here, this green, I can't just take my rectangle, color overlay, click here, and eyedrop this color. If you notice it's a little darker, that's because the template still has the multiply layer on it. If I wanted to make something the exact color, I would need to turn off my template layer, then color overlay this color, and I would be okay. And I notice on this, we're just going to delete this out. That doesn't belong there. And it looks like nothing's there because there's no template. And just like that, you have templated the driver's side of a Porsche 911 GT2.